Hey, has-beens. The dawn is about to arrive on day 27 of this challenge. And I was up a little late last night because I was being inspired. So I'm going to talk about that. And then I'm going to talk about how the run went today. My first run back outside of my adaptation week. So I usually get up around 5 a.m., which means I usually go to bed between 9 and 10 to try to ensure that I get a decent amount of sleep, and it makes it easy to get up. But as some of you may know, I am a pretty big professional wrestling fan. I have been for my whole life, pretty much, since I was about 6 or 7. And last night was kind of a big show in the world of professional wrestling. The WWE hosted their Royal Rumble, which sort of lays the groundwork for the storylines for what's commonly referred to as the Super Bowl of professional wrestling, a show that I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of called WrestleMania. And the Royal Rumble has a deep tradition into it. It's 30 guys in the ring. You got to dump people over the top. And both their feet have to hit the ground, and then they're out. And the last person remaining in the ring gets a title shot at the big dance, WrestleMania. And it started out in the late 80s and 90s as a way for, younger stars that they wanted to push to sort of get their ticket punched. And it really helped the WWE tell some interesting stories. What it's become is sort of that same thing, but what's been folded into the storyline is this sort of rising from the grave. There's always a couple superstars from 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago that oftentimes will show up, and I'm not going to say as a joke. It's not that they'll show up as a joke, but new big stars from outside the organization will make their premieres there. The phenomenal AJ Styles, I think, made his WWE premiere at the Royal Rumble in 2016, I want to say. So it's just sort of a way to break news, and then see some very familiar faces that maybe you haven't seen in a really long time. And last night the Rumble was going on, and it was an okay show. It wasn't really killing it. And then right about halfway, it was right around 15, 16, 17, some music hit that I haven't heard in a very long time. And a professional wrestler named Edge came out. And usually, Edge hasn't wrestled in, I think, almost a decade, 9 or 10 years. And usually when a wrestler that hasn't performed on the big stage in 9 or 10 years comes out, usually they look like they haven't wrestled in 9 or 10 years. They start to look more mortal. They look more like normal people. They sort of like what you or I would look like dressed up in their outfit. But you hear their music, and it's nice to see them, and there's a little nostalgia that goes along with it. And maybe they knock somebody out of the ring or something like that, and they get a little notoriety. And it's just nice. Man, that is not how Edge came out. That guy looked better than he did while he was wrestling. He was definitely 9 years older, don't get me wrong, but he looked amazing. He looked great. And he played to the crowd, and he got a bunch of eliminations, and he told a pretty good story with some of the other performers in the ring, which doesn't happen a lot in the Royal Rumble. And he just looked phenomenal. I mean, I can't say it enough. He definitely looked better than he did in the late stages of his career. But, I mean, he looked better than he looked, midway through. I mean, he hasn't looked that good, maybe ever. I'd have to go back and watch some footage of, him in the 90s to find something that was as good or better. And he performed great and really was an inspiration to the has-been culture that I'm trying to foster here. This idea that no matter how late it is, it's not too late, and that you can get back to where you were through hard work and dedication. So I think I might do a little bit more research on his training and what he's done in the last 9 years to achieve the results that he has, and maybe try and garner a little extra inspiration. If there's anything good there, I'll try and share it with you guys. So I highly recommend that you look that up. Just type in Edge Royal Rumble, and he was in it for about 20 minutes, but I'm sure you can at least find his entrance, and you're going to be like, that guy is how old? Because he looks great. And he performed great. Today was easy. Easy 4. Back up. Obviously, I was quite sleepy. Only got about 5 or 6 hours of sleep. But I got up. Okay, no problems. Got to the gym. 4 miles. 8 flat. 7:53, 7:47, 7:40. So what's that? 31, 20 or 31, 21. So about 7:50 pace. Felt good. I have a hot spot on the outside of my left foot that is going to need some attention. I've been icing it the last couple of days, and it hasn't really gotten any worse. It hasn't really gotten any better. It sort of slowly gets worse as the run progresses, and then it doesn't really bother me anymore. So it doesn't appear to be changing my form or anything like that, or causing any secondary issues. So I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing, icing it multiple times a day, and just treating it as best I can, and just monitoring it closely. I really hope that it goes away. I hope it's just the residual new shoe blues, and that it's not anything that I have to worry about big time. So that's it. 4 miles, coming back to a 34, 35 mile week. So 4 mile easy days with the governor off, and then tempo on Wednesday, and a long run on Sunday. That's what we're going to be doing. So comment down below, who's inspired you lately? There's a lot of people coming out of the woodwork. From the running side, obviously I've talked about Mary Kane, but Evan Jager is on his way back. He's not quite the same has-been story, because he's still clearly in the shape of his life, but he's coming back from an injury, and it's a pretty dramatic change. So maybe I'll talk about that in the next day or two. But comment down below about who inspires you, and or what do you do to get inspired, because I'd love to hear about it, and it's very important that we keep that train moving. Time passes stubbornly, and we need to take advantage of every second that we can to try to make ourselves and those around us better. So inspiration helps with that. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope your running is going very well, and we will talk to you again tomorrow.